Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Well, this weekend marks 10 years since the unthinkable collapse of Wall Street investment bank Lehman Brothers, the largest corporate bankruptcy in American history, triggering the devastating housing crisis of 2008. At that time, and for several years, Indiana was among the worst foreclosure states in the entire country. How has the state's housing market changed since the economic crisis of 2008? Well, for some answers, let's turn to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Indiana Realty broker Greg Cooper. And Greg, as always, welcome to the program.
Great to be here.
All right, let's go back to some not so fond memories. 10 years ago, 2008. How bad was it?
You know, we started by talking a few minutes ago how I remember vividly during that time through 2008, good part of 2009 into 2010, there was 2 years, perhaps a year and a half, where almost every night when I went into a home to list for sale, someone who'd lost their job, was going to have to move, where somebody didn't cry. And that's a really intense night after night after night when so many families are feeling that pain. Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah, we're a manufacturing state, obviously. The unemployment situation was terrible. Elkhart, the highest unemployment rate in the entire country. Foreclosures. Indiana was in the top 10, I think, for a while. We were maybe number 1 in the country. That has improved, though.
Well outside the top 10 at this point. We don't want to be with Illinois and California and the other states that are still having those problems because of their troublesome economies. So we've improved tremendously in that respect.
As you look at the numbers, in 2009, 1 of every 62 homes in Indiana was in some form of foreclosure. Today, it's 1 in over 4,700.
Shocking.
So it's improved. Anything driving that improvement?
I believe that we resolved this problem, Gary, in part because so many of the foreclosures were in very modestly priced homes. If you had $100,000, $125,000, $75,000, in some cases $40,000 and $50,000 homes that had been foreclosed upon, unfortunately, those homes were bought by investors and flipped pretty quickly because of the affordability factor. So we recovered much more quickly, I think, than a lot of places in the country did.
Let's talk about equity. At the lowest point, 2013, 12% of Indiana homes had negative equity in their homes. Today, it's just over 2%, so that's better as well.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame, and I almost wonder if that 12% wasn't generous. I'm not sure exactly. That it might not have been a whole lot worse had we really been able to delve deeper into it.
Let's talk about new home construction, because that was just decimated. Went down like 60% from 2007 to 2008.
A number of big home builders in Indiana disappeared. The number 1 home builder in the state of Indiana disappeared during that time. So we went way down, and in the purest economic sense, while there was a lot of pain there, obviously, for lost jobs and whatnot, the reality is that the home building business has really reinvented itself in an interesting way in the last few years.
And as we were talking off camera, many communities have reinvented themselves, and you really feel that that's been a part of this whole recovery.
To me, the most shocking part of what's happened in the recovery in the last 10 years is how communities have begun to reinvent themselves, to reinvest, to redevelop themselves, catering to populations. No more do we just put up sprawling neighborhoods wherever. We're redeveloping central cores, walkability, new urbanism, all these terms that have become so important to both downsizers and millennials, big parts of the housing market. Those have become front and center for communities, and they're catering right at them.
Yeah, these communities are being very intentional, no doubt, about that strategy. All right, let's fast forward now to today, to the market. Last time we had you on, you said this was the craziest market you'd seen in 30 years. The inventory so tight. Have things loosened up?
I'm not going Mach 3 with my hair on fire anymore, so that's probably a good thing. Now, things have calmed down. There are still houses that get sold very quickly if they're in an affordable and amenity level that the market really demands. But there's a number of homes that are sitting a little bit longer. And I even said to somebody earlier today, if you have a $200,000 house pretty much anywhere in the state of Indiana and you're not sold in the first 30 days, probably not priced right for the marketplace.
Yeah, and you go back a few months, the number of offers on homes was crazy.
You know, on that $200,000 home, if it was a really nice product at the beginning of May, we might have got 4, 5, 6 offers on the house. Today, the first day we might still get 1, or the first week we might still get 1, which isn't bad, but it's obviously cooled considerably.
Where do you see things going, Greg, through the remainder of this year and then as we begin 2019?
A lot of demand exceeded in the first 7, 8 months of this year, so it's been a little slow for July, August into early September. I think we're going to have a little spurt between now and Thanksgiving, and then things will settle back in before we get into the true breadth of the holidays.
All right, Greg Cooper, as always, some great perspective on a tough time 10 years ago and perspective on the current market.
Glad to be looking back at it as well.
So exactly. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
All right.